Hi everyone, today is September 14th and we're entering the third day of trial in the United States versus Google, which is one of the largest antitrust cases in the history of kind of antitrust litigation. It's certainly the biggest antitrust case since the Microsoft case in the late 1990s. And if you haven't been up on the news, the United States, as well as multiple states attorneys general, brought an antitrust case against Google, alleging that Google has monopolized the search engine industry and tangentially has monopolized ad revenue coming from search engines. And the basic allegations, very similar to how they alleged the case back when they went against Microsoft, is that Google has used its size and scale to edge out any competition. And that since they have about 90% market share, they have continued to enter into extremely restrictive contracts with the largest providers of services that restrict those services to only provide Google search. And Google search engine then also generates ads and places ads within it. And really the United States case seems to be that the harm done is twofold. One, it disallows competition and startups from even entering because the amount of scale they would need to bring to bear is massive. And secondarily, that consumers are somehow damaged. Now, the interesting thing here is if you read the complaint and the news articles about opening statements, the actual harm done to consumers is a very amorphous sentiment. There's actually no real allegation on what it is besides this generic statement that consumers have been harmed by a lack of innovation. On the Google side, they are arguing that their product is superior, and the argument actually seems to me personally to ring true because they have taken the consumer's choice and continued to make it better and better, and in scaling have somewhat perfected the search engine and ad revenue space, and it shouldn't be held against them that they have become so successful. Now, that's where the rubber will meet the road, are some of the tactics that Google has enacted after becoming successful too far? Are some of the manners in which they're entering contracts with brands like Apple or Samsung, are they too far? Are they restricting free market competition in such a way that they've run afoul? The most interesting thing about the first day of trial and opening statements was the judge's pinging of each side of questions. Usually, as a trial practitioner, opening statements is your time to tell the judge, to tell the court or a jury. This is a bench trial, so it's just the judge. It's your time to tell them your narrative of what the case is about and what the evidence will show. You do not expect always a judge to start asking you questions. But the judge in this case seemed very, very amped up to actually ask questions, and did, of both sides, asking them whether or not certain evidence would be shown. Now, I don't know if the side's prepared for this, but I could tell you as a trial practitioner that could certainly throw you off. I'm sure that these are excellent attorneys, so I'm sure it didn't, but it does give you a glimpse into how the judge will likely run his courtroom. He is going to be a very active participant. And that makes for a very interesting case when it's a bench trial, because he's probably going to be telling them exactly what he wants to see and what he is thinking. And that is helpful, but also harmful as you're trying to try a case, because it may substantially change what your strategy is. So this is going to be about a 10-week trial. That's the estimates right now. And witnesses are going to range from the Google CEO to all of the major players within Google, which, people are going to be waiting on bated breath to see what they have to say and what sort of evidence is going to come out about Google's actual tactics. And then we'll also be seeing whether or not the government will continue to play by the Microsoft playbook, which will be interesting because the Microsoft case was different. The antitrust allegation in the Microsoft case was that they were using the Windows program to basically eliminate competition. And obviously that's a Windows product. Here, Google does not have a product. They're using free market contracts. So that is an interesting twist. And in that, for the Google side, is what makes it so different. This is set to be the trial of the century. It's been called the trial that will determine the future of the internet. We all know how big Google is. and how big they've gotten. So it will be interesting to see how the next 10 weeks play out, and certainly join us back here as we will have ongoing updates as the trial hits different phases. Thank you very much and be well.